So bullying is one of the most disgusting parts of humanity, and I personally hate it, or I think most people do, but it's one of those things that a lot of people do. There's a lot of people out there, adults as well, who will do this. And it's like a predatory thing, it's a status thing, it's pulling other people down, pushing other people down so that they can feel better about themselves and they can look good to other people. And the point of this video is there's a lot of guys who you can tell something happened. You can tell because their response to this is to take loads of steroids and go bald and get as huge, just ridiculously enormous trend out of their minds. But they address absolutely nothing else, which would potentially prevent this because it makes you look more masculine. This is where all this is coming from, and I'm going to get into the details in just a minute. Some guys take up things like MMA or boxing, which you could argue is more useful. One sec, let me sort this lighting. And yeah, it will make you better in a fight, of course, but it's not going to help you unless you're Lord Conor McGregor or Alex Pereira or whatever, some famous MMA dude. They're not going to know that you can fight just taking one look at you. So it's actually not going to be much of a deterrent in most situations. I've told stories to my email list before about guys who have been bouncers. The shorter guy was a proper fighter and was easily the most lethal one. But the guy who was much taller and built like a beast, no one ever messed with him, even when they were drunk. And because the deterrent is obvious, it's obvious that he's bigger. But it was the shorter guy who was getting in these fights all the time because people thought mistakenly that they could mess with him just taking one look at him. But they were wrong, but the point is he was constantly getting into scuffles. And some guys like that. I don't know. I personally think it's quite a young way of looking at the world. Gets boring pretty quickly. So... And the thing is, some guys take a bunch of steroids and that's their response. Some guys join an MMA thing. My answer is it's probably somewhere in the middle, and I think there's a better solution for most people. If you've got a full-time job, you're not going to become some sort of pro MMA guy. If you value your health and you want high testosterone naturally, you're not going to be wanting to be injecting a bunch of steroids, obviously. So the physique is part of it. Like, I'll be the first to tell you that having bigger arms is better than having skinnier arms. Of course it is. It just is. People will respect you more, men especially. But even like if you have a girlfriend or a wife, they tend to feel safer, generally speaking, if you've got bigger arms or shoulders or whatever. But something that people really underestimate is the neck and traps. It's possibly the most important muscle area in the male body for looking like you can handle yourself. You need, like, my neck isn't as big as it could be, it's really not. And it's only something that's grown over the past year. But you need like a decent sized neck, decent sized traps. You don't want to have a pencil neck, that's a really bad idea. Pencil neck with a recessed jaw, recessed chin is a really, really weak look. You want to avoid that. Maybe if you're 6'7", you can get away with that, but you don't want a narrow jaw, a recessed chin, and like a neck that like starts there and goes down. You don't want that. So neck and traps, you can train these things quite frequently as well. It's not like training legs. Training legs, you're not training hard more than twice a week without killing yourself. Neck, you can do like 5 times a week, especially if you're sleeping well, especially if your testosterone is decent. So those two, that is extremely important. Your face. So this is huge, right? It's not all, loads of people go on about height. Height is important, but you can't really control it. You can wear certain shoes or boots or insoles or something. You can go down that route. Maybe adds a couple of inches. It's kind of up to you. I prefer to focus on the big things that you can actually control. But if you want some good examples of this, look at Hollywood. There's guys like Tom Hardy. He's not tall, and he has muscle. He's not the most roided out dude on the planet, but he looks quite menacing facially. He's a really good example of this because the eyebrows are positively tilted instead of like negatively tilted, where they go up towards the middle, which makes you look very innocent. It makes you look scared all the time. Whereas when they go the opposite way, it's kind of it's the opposite. You look not scared. You look a bit more assertive, I think is the word. Then you've got things like facial hair, and the chin area is very important. As I've kind of alluded to, you don't want to have like a really recessed chin. If you do have one, you want to grow some facial hair in the chin area to make it look more pronounced. That combined with a thick neck is a game changer for a lot of people. You want angularity. Angularity is like how angular your face looks, which is mostly just a case of low body fat. You don't want puffy, rounded cheeks. It's not good. It's not masculine. If anything, you look at all these top MMA fighters, they all have very lean, angular faces, a big chin, thick neck. They all look the same. It's mostly a low body fat thing. The only problem with creatine, and I recommend creatine for most people, but it does make your face look a bit more rounded most of the time for some people. But angularity, it's partly a bone thing, it's partly a body fat thing, it's partly lack of water retention. Overdoing the sodium's another mistake. You want to increase the potassium, reduce the sodium, and you'll look more angular. If you've got really good facial hair, that can make you look more angular as well. Short hair tends to win against long hair. Long hair obviously is more feminine. I don't think I need to explain that. Yes, there's exceptions to the rule. Jason Momoa. If that dude shaved his hair off, he would look probably too masculine for the Hollywood roles he's in, the Hollywood hunk sort of thing. The long hair with him is necessary because his brow ridge, his eyebrows, and his eye area, and the beard, and being 6'3" and very muscular, he'd be too intimidating for the roles that he's in if he had short hair. So the long hair for him is necessary, I would say. Plus, if you notice him in interviews, he's always smiling. He's always laughing. And he always has this very friendly expression on his face. He has figured this out. This is done on purpose, because if he didn't, he'd be too menacing, you know. And then the long hair sort of adds to that. It's necessary for him. But yeah, short hair clearly is more masculine than long hair. Whether that's because you've shaved it off, or you're bald, or you just keep it short on the back and sides. It's more of a male sort of look, obviously. But yeah, the brows, the eye area is very important. I've done a video. No, I did an email where I compared my face from a few years ago on an old Instagram post to now. My eyebrows used to be slightly negatively tilted. Now they're positively tilted. You can influence this a lot with things like minoxidil, derma rolling, different oils, and you can influence this way more than you realize, trust me. Tats are probably a smaller point. Loads of people have tats. I only have a couple of small ones. Tattoos aren't going to save you if you've got a recessed jawline and a pencil neck and, I don't know, are 5'4". Tattoos aren't going to save you then, but they can definitely add to it. If you have got that sort of look and the physique as well, then the tattoos can definitely add to it. But yeah, these are things to think about that you can massively influence. Height, you can't massively influence. There's some leg breaking surgery out there. Oh my God, Jesus, I could not do that. Um, but assuming you're not a complete lunatic that's willing to break your legs and be screwed for 6 months, um, these are other things to think about that don't involve going on copious amounts of trenbolone or dedicating your life to an MMA gym or boxing or whatever. There's more to it. Don't just focus on your biceps, focus on your neck and your traps. Don't just focus on these things. Focus on your face is extremely important. The eye area, the chin area, how angular your face is, which is body fat first and foremost for most guys. And yeah, short hair. If your hair's getting longer, yeah, generally speaking, it's going to make you look less masculine. But the eye area is huge as well. So yeah, man, focus on these. I hope you found this video useful. I've got a free testosterone Bible that loads of people found this really useful. Check that out, and I talk about my journey from 400 to 1020. I'll see you in that one.